From WFRV TV, Local 5, serving Northeast Wisconsin, including Green Bay, Fox Cities, and the Lakeshore. This is Newsmaker Sunday.
Good morning. Thank you for joining us for Newsmaker Sunday. I'm Tom Zalaski. Well, today we are talking about the roles of small business playing in our economy and the issues that they are faced with. And joining us this morning, Scott Bushke, the founder and managing partner of Cornerstone Business Services in Green Bay. It's a national leader in the merger and acquisition world. Scott, good morning.
Thank you.
Good
morning
to
to you.
See you. Mergers and acquisitions, not something the average person knows a whole lot about, not exposed to in layman's terms. What do you do?
What we do is we help business owners in three areas. Help them understand their true value of their company, so they know in reality, what is my business truly worth in today's marketplace. We help them grow through acquisitions. So it's so hard to find employees these days and grow organically. So if someone's looking to try to grow organically through acquisition, we can help them find those targets and help them become larger. And where we spend our most time is helping business owners sell their businesses. So working with them to understand the value, and then if those numbers make sense, put together a package and kind of tell the story, do all the research about who the right buyers might be that could pay the most money or the best fit for that client, and then market that and run a structured process to ultimately sell the company and let the client choose who they think the best fit for their businesses.
Mergers and acquisitions. How does one, or where does one start to get into this business? What path did you take to get to your current position?
Not the normal path.
Okay.
I kind of fell into it by accident, actually. I was in Whitewater, went to school at Whitewater, and did a College Pro Painter franchise between my junior and senior year. Had done sales for Cutco Cutlery, selling Cutco door to door. Always knew I loved sales, solving problems, meeting with people, and worked for a company, Aldi Foods, for a couple of years after college.
Aldi Foods.
Yes, and I was one of the first district manager ever hired out of Whitewater back in 1996, a long time ago. And did my 2 years in corporate America. Wanted to get back into big ticket sales or running my own company of some sort, and didn't know what that was. And by happenstance, I met someone at a family function, and he's like, "Hey, I sell companies and do commercial real estate and all these different things, and you can come up and join our firm if you want." That's what got me to Green Bay. I was living down in Milwaukee at the time, and the old adage of ignorance is bliss. I was just too dumb to know I had a very little chance of success at the age of 24, but went into it eyes wide open and full of a lot of determination, and here we sit 25 years later.
So we're talking small business here. How do you define a small business?
Yeah, there's really two categories in the M&A world for businesses. There's what we call our Main Street businesses, which if you think of what do you see on Main Street America, your bars, restaurant, retail, service companies that are usually doing 0 to maybe 3, 4, 5 million in revenue. And then the other businesses are what we call the lower middle market, which are anywhere from 5 million to maybe 150 million in revenue. But those could be, around here, your manufacturing companies, distribution companies, trucking companies, construction, whatever else it might be.
Some say that small business is the backbone of our economy. Any idea how many small businesses we have here in Wisconsin? How many people do we employ?
Yeah, just in Wisconsin, there's over 462,000 small businesses categorized by the ASBA, and that's 99.4% of all the companies here in Wisconsin, and they represent almost half of all the employees are represented by that group. So it's almost 100% of the companies and about half of all the employees are employed by a small business owner here in Wisconsin.
So what kind of an impact does that have on our state?
I mean, it's unbelievable. You think about the number of companies out there, and all these businesses are going to sell or transition at some point. In fact, that's one of the unique stats out there right now is that there's the largest transfer of wealth ever in this country, and it's all tied to the baby boomer. There are estimates of $10 trillion they're going to transition over the next 5 to 10 years. And no one's really talking about that, but it's all these baby boomers out in the different industrial parks, and whether it's Green Bay or Luxembourg or wherever else it is. And if they don't sell their businesses successfully, and unfortunately, only 20% nationwide of companies successfully sell. And if people go, well, then I'll just transfer it to my son or daughter. Well, the stats aren't great there either. That it's like 30% are successful in the second generation, 12 in the third, and only 3% in the fourth. So what we're trying to do is really help them, come together and have a better chance of selling that business.
Mm-hmm. So when somebody comes to you, they're not coming in blind. I know you got a couple of props here. You got a book and a workbook. Is this something that clients find useful?
We do. We wrote it simple. It's 100 pages long. And what it is it's a holistic approach. There's a lot of books out there about how to build value in your company. And yes, that's important. But there's so much more to a sale than just the value of the company. It's what are you going to do next? What's important in a sale? Do you know all your exit options? So it really takes a holistic approach to help a business owner just get an idea of what are my options? When should I get out? How important is timing? And what I wrote was a complimentary workbook with it as well. So, or a companion workbook. So as they read a chapter, they go and do a little homework assignment. So there are a couple of exercises in there, a couple of questions that they can reflect on. So it just helps them start to prepare, whether you're 10 months or 10 years away from selling your company. You start thinking about that because it's never too early to plan, because unfortunately, bad things happen to good people, and about 50% of the time, they don't go out on their terms. They go out, due to death or divorce or disability or something else that happens to them.
Mergers and acquisitions. We are with Scott Bushke this morning, and we have much more to come after this, so please stay with us. We continue our conversation with Scott Bushke. Small businesses really got whacked during the pandemic. What kind of an effect did the pandemic have?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many headwinds that they had to take on, whether it's just working from remote, not knowing, they all come together. Now they got to figure out how to work remote and what that looks like, to supply chain shortages. Boy, they can sell the product, but they can't get the different parts they need. And then it just rippled effect into, just how hard it was to find a new employee, everything in the inflationary side of things. I mean, inflation really killed a lot of companies. Like we had one company that we were working with in the construction space, and they did large projects in the HVAC space. And they would build a project today, but they wouldn't do it maybe for 6 or 9 months. And costs of products were going up so fast that they couldn't change their pricing tied to their contract. So what once was a 12% bottom line, in about 9 months was a 2% bottom line, because they just got squeezed. So it was between employees, inflationary, and now you have interest rates going up as fast as they could in any time frame. It's really been just one gut punch after the next. But that's the cool thing about entrepreneurs, is they continue to find ways to get knocked down and pop back up and keep working in most cases.
And on top of that, you got wages going up.
Yeah, wages are insane of how wages have gone up. And we've got clients that, they've got longer term contracts again, and they can't increase those wages until the contract comes up to renewal. So they just continue to get squeezed.
See a lot of hiring at businesses, a lot of signs out.
Right.
Everybody's hiring. How tough right now is it to find good quality people?
When I talk with our clients, they say it's almost impossible. Unless you're really unique. But the patent answer that we get from most of our clients is, we could grow 20% tomorrow if we could just find the people that show up and come to work.
Why can't we find them? Where are they?
Some people don't want to work. Some people, it's tough. That's a good question. If I knew the answer to that, I'd probably have a whole other company and be doing really well with it. It's really tough to find, especially skilled workers that want to do some of these jobs, especially these manufacturing jobs. The younger generation wants to do more with computers and technology, and we're seeing that with business owners trying to pass their businesses off to their kids as well. Like, Mom or Dad, I don't want this manufacturing company. I want to do something in digital marketing, or whatever else it might be. So it's been tough all around.
You brought up an issue that's come up quite a bit lately, the term "some people don't want to work."
Yes.
The other side of that coin is some companies don't want to pay.
Right.
Is there merit to both sides?
Possibly somewhat, but I think it's more people don't want to work than pay, because they've got to pay. If you don't pay, you're losing all your employees these days. So almost all of our clients have given raises to their people over the last year or two to make sure that they can keep. And I think that's one thing that's probably helped a little bit too, is that as you grow so fast, you have A players, but you also have B and C players. So I think a lot of people, the ones that I've seen really come out of this strong, have kind of shed their C players and made sure they did whatever they could to upgrade and upgrade their B players and keep their A players. So now when they're coming out of this, they've really got a strong team, and so you got a lot of C or D or F players sitting on the sidelines. So even if you could find some people, you're not sure if you want to hire them to begin with. Yeah,
we all know that inflation has gone crazy at the grocery store. That everybody knows about. But in your business, what has inflation done to small businesses?
I'll give you an example. We're talking to a client right now that imports food. It's a food distribution company. They import about 3,000 containers a year, and they do about 110 million in sales. Their cost in shipping cost went from about 7 to 8 million a year to 25 to 30 million a year. Because their cost went from a $2,500 a container to $25,000 a container in some cases. So it was just crazy. And sometimes they could pass those costs on to the supermarkets, and sometimes they just ate them and they couldn't. So it's really been interesting to see just the determination of the entrepreneur through these last 3 or 4 years of just everything that they've had to deal with. And some haven't made it. There's some that'll shut down their business, but for a lot of cases, the ones that have really dug in, they're doing well, and they'll come out of this stronger with a better team, more focused, and being ready to take on the market again.
So right now, overall, small businesses, how are they doing in general? Are there certain sectors that are doing better than others?
Absolutely. I think there are definitely winners and losers with everything that's going on. Food through the economy and everything else has been good because we're all eating at homes. Now restaurants through obviously pandemic were really hurt bad. Yeah. But I look at manufacturing being, we're all around manufacturing here, some of the best manufacturing companies in the country, and that's coming back from overseas. So all the tensions with China and everything else, a lot of that's coming back. So we're seeing a lot more emphasis on buyers looking to buy manufacturing companies of all sorts because they know that there's tailwinds behind that effort.
Sure. Our guest is Scott Bushke, and we have much more to come, so stay with us. Back now with Scott Bushke with Cornerstone Business Services, small businesses and baby boomers.
Yes.
I take it right now baby boomers are the major owners of these companies. Are they planning for their future?
That's a great question. It's very interesting. So I got in this industry 25 years ago. They were talking about baby boomers, starting to sell and everything else. And now we sit 25 years later, and I was just at an exit planning conference in Scottsdale about 3 months ago, and the CEO was talking. He said 10 years ago we sat here, and the average boomer was 58 years old, and there was 4 million baby boomer business owners out there. Where now the average is 68 years old. A decade later, there's still 3 million baby boomer business owners out there. 3 million owners of businesses that are, somewhere between, in that 46 to 64 year time frame. It's unbelievable how many companies are still out there. So what we think we're going to see, regardless of what the economy is doing and everything else, that there's going to be a ramp up of more and more companies are going to start to come to the market because, do you really want to be 70, 80, 90 years old and still own your company? And can you do it well at that time? So we think there's going to be a huge ramp up of more baby boomers going to market and selling their company. In fact, like I think I mentioned before, there's books out there that talk about the $10 trillion opportunity, and that's what that is, all the boomers selling their company. That's what that net worth is worth.
It's gutsy to get into a small business. What's the failure rate, success rate?
Yeah, it's starting a company is much riskier than buying a company. There's rates out there that it's very, very, very bad, as far as getting through just the first year, and then it's the majority don't make it through the first 5 years, and then it starts to go from there. But as far as starting a company, it allows, or as far as buying a company, there's a higher success rate because when you're buying a company, it's not just this idea that I have that I think is going to be great, and now I got to go out and prove it, and I got to hire employees, and I got to create cash flow. When you're buying a company, there's a proven concept that works. There's a brand, there's customer base, there's trained employees, so you've got that cash flow, and you just have to make sure that the cash flow to what your debt service is makes sense.
When a small business does go under, what kind of an impact does it have on the community?
Yeah, and like I said before, only 20% of companies successfully sell, so that means 80% might not sell in a lot of cases. So, you look at that business owner, it's not just their net worth and their legacy of 30 years or whatever it might be that goes down the tubes. So besides their legacy, there might be 40, 50 jobs there. That's 50 employees, that's 50 families that now have to go find a new job, or now it's not too bad, but in times it can be real tough to find a new job. It's the community. My son just played flag football, and OSMS was a sponsor. All of a sudden, if a lot of those businesses go away, well, now who's going to be the sponsor for the Little League and all the community things going on, or giving money to the United Way or whatever else it might be? So there's just this ripple effect of, not just the owner, but all the employees, and then all the companies that service that company, that now they got to find more work somewhere else, and the community. It's a huge ripple effect, and that's, again, like we talked about, it's something that's not just an economic effect, but it's really a social effect of what this could do to the economy and to the United States over the next decade.
And you addressed that issue in a documentary.
Yes.
You were in a documentary.
Yes.
How did that happen? How did that come about?
I was actually at speaking at a national symposium to financial planners and insurance professionals about 5 years ago, and there was a gentleman there who had just done this movie. His name's Doug Orchard, and he's done now 7 major motion picture films. And we were talking afterwards. It was in the financial services space, and all about the taxes going up, and over the next several years, and you want to get your tax bases down to zero. And I thought it was very interesting how he created a film that educated the business or the business owner or just anybody watching the film, but also entertain them. And so I sat down with him after and said, well, that's an interesting concept. You should do it on mergers and acquisitions because it's a crazy market out there. Some people do it really well. Most people fail. There's this huge silver tsunami coming through of all these business owners that are going to sell. And I said, there's companies like mine that really can help people, and there's other companies out there that just basically rip people off and tell them whatever they want to hear and take a $50,000 retainer. And he's like, yeah, everybody wants to make a business on their industry or a film on their industry. And so here's my card. Here's some other things that I've done. Here's some stats. Call me if you ever want to talk. And like 4 months later, all of a sudden I get up the phone and says, hey, this is Doug Orchard. I want to talk to you about making this film. And that was about, like I said, 5 years ago. So we signed on to do it, partner on it in January of 2020, right before COVID. Mm-hmm. And we just released it in May of this year, and it's rolling out now to several cities this next quarter. And then by next year, 2024, it'll be in probably 100 cities all around the country.
Yeah, I know we covered your debut.
Yes.
Your debut rolling out the red carpet party. What was the main message of that film?
Yeah, the 2 things that I said, if I was going to be a part of it, I wanted to get across is, number 1, as a business owner, you need to start planning sooner. When people call us, they wake up one day and it's not a positive trigger or, hey, my company's doing so good, I want to sell now because we're on top. It's usually a personal trigger. It's not fun anymore. I'm burnt out. I'm tired. And even if it's a saleable company, there's still so much money they leave on the table, or they could do so much better if they just took a little time to plan and kind of clean things up a little bit. So I want them to understand they need to start planning sooner. And number 2 is that they needed to build a team of specialists around them. They needed to have the CPA, not just the attorney, but also an M&A attorney, the M&A advisor, the investment banker, the financial advisor, all of them helping out that client in all our different ways to make sure that they get, they can sell this company and they can maximize the value. Because if you think about it, these business owners have run this business for 10, 20, 30, 40 or more years, and they put all their eggs in one basket. They haven't bought real estate. They don't have a big 401k or a pension fund. They kept investing back into themselves, into the company. So now it comes time to sell, and they get one chance to do this thing right. And if they screw it up, what thought could be a $20 million sale might be 5, or 10 might be 3, or it might not sell at all. And it's like thinking, you work for corporate America for 50 years, put as much money in your 401k as possible, and then you go to, hey, I finally retired, I can check out, and sorry, the CFO embezzled all your money and there's nothing in the checking account. And unfortunately, that happens a lot. So we want to make sure that they know to plan sooner and they know they need a team around them. And getting that across, if those 2 things happen, there's a direct correlation to the success rate goes up substantially.
We are back to wrap up with Scott Bushke with more after this. Stay with us. Back now with Scott Bushke with Cornerstone Business Services. A lot of people watching out there right now contemplating selling their business, thinking that I can do this on my own.
Sure.
Why is it more advantageous to come to a company like yours? Yeah,
great question. So the process and the skill sets of building up a business and running a business are very different than selling a business. If you think about it, it's your largest financial asset that you ever have. It's going to be your largest financial transaction. Most people think of it as, most of our clients talk about giving up one of their kids for adoption. That's that's the emotional side of selling a company, is like giving up one of their kids for adoption or sending them off to college. And they've never done this before. They get one at bat, and they're going up against buyers that might look at 200, 300, 400 companies and only buy one. And this is all they do day in and day out is they know what to say to the business owners. They know how to get them into an exclusive relationship, and they know that if they can get to a one-on-one relationship with that seller before they get to that the seller gets to someone like us, they are absolutely going to get a better deal 100% of the time. So what we do, there's a lot of those companies I could never run like they run, but what I've known for 60,000 hours of my life and 25 years is how to help people sell their companies. So we can help keep things confidential. We can help create a market. we can drive, put that story together and put it all as succinctly as possible. And then really we call herding the cats and bringing them all together. So we're getting multiple offers at one time, but there's no asking price on this. So we run this proven structured process that we've created called our Assurance 360 process, and that just gets the results. So our average, like last year, we averaged 5 offers per client. So not only do they have the peace of mind that they didn't leave any money on the table, but they got to choose who is the best fit for them and their legacy or whatever is important to them. On top of that, we were able to get a premium over what others. So other companies in that what we say our benchmark price is that we don't put out there to the public. If the average was a $10 million deal last year in their size of industry and scope, we were able to get 12.3 or 23% premium for that. So we're able to drive the value. We know how to negotiate. We know how to run a process. And it's a full-time job plus some. So we can do what we do. We let them do what they do best. And usually good things happen at the end, because if they take their eye off the ball, that last 12 months, not even the last calendar year, but that last 12 months, that's what the buyer is going to probably put most, if not all, of the weight on. So if they're trying to do this themselves and watching their sales and EBITDA go down, they could lose millions of dollars because they're taking their eye off the ball of the business and trying to do something that they've never done before. So it's, a simple example is, think if you're a really good athlete, you go out to Green Bay Country Club, you never played golf before, you go, hey, let's get the club pro over here, I'm going to beat you in golf.
Win.
It's probably not going to happen. And that's what happens a lot of times in this business.
All right, Scott Bushke, good to see you. Thanks so much. Good information.
Thank you so much.
And if you have a newsmaker in your town who you think we should have on this show, let us know about it. Send us an email to tips@wearegreenbay.com, or you can message us on Facebook. And be sure to join us once again Sunday morning. Until then, have a great day.